Hey, all right. So I've been asked by a few people about the vegan plan that I've been kind of following, and it's my own. I'm not really following a diet per se. I'm just choosing right now to see how much sustainable foods I can have that are just mostly plant-based. So I haven't actually eaten meat in several months. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were a couple times I unknowingly did, or I've eaten things that have probably a meat based, and sometimes I do eat cheese. So I'm not trying to be labeled vegan. And I'm not. I have no ethical problem with eating animal-based products. I'm just choosing not to right now. Now, having said that, I'm laying out the things, and I don't know if I'm going to get everything in there, but some of the things I typically use in making a veggie and fruit smoothie. And these are really something that I enjoy starting most mornings because it just gives me a lot of energy. Mine are mostly veggie based, so they're not super sweet. I do get a little sweetness from some of the protein powders that I add to them, just because I am doing weight training and trying to build some muscle, so I do add some protein, and I'll explain that in a second. So let me show you some of the things I have and how I prep. You guys can ask questions, criticize, and all that if you like. That's fine. I just want to kind of educate on what I do. All right. So first off, we're looking at my stove here. So the top of the stove here, I've got these are sweet potatoes, and they're frozen. So I bake the sweet potato, and then I cut it into slices, and I lay it flat in my freezer, and I keep them ready for smoothies. And you're probably going to be like, oh my God, that would break my blender. So I'll show you that in a second. These are bananas, and a lot of times a lot of people probably can't see it here. People get rid of their bananas when they're brown. That's actually the greatest time to keep them because they're super sweet. And you can save them obviously for banana bread, but in my case, I like them in my smoothies. Add a little sweetness and energy. There are also grapes in here. So we had some grapes that were starting to get a little soft and wrinkly, so I threw them in there. Okay. Now, obviously, if you reconstitute them, they're not great to eat because the freezing breaks them down. I just throw them right into my smoothie to make it nice and cold and sweet. This here is a ready-made pack of mixed fruit that I got from, I believe it was Sam's Club, and it's got mostly strawberries, pineapple, looks like papaya or something in there. I may not be using that today because I got a lot of other stuff I'm going to add, so we'll put that back in the freezer. All right, now we're going to start to get into some stuff that may make people cringe, and that's okay with me. This is coleslaw, okay? It is not, it's really just cabbage and carrots. I do throw that in there, okay? Just some variety. Celery. Celery is a great thing to add into smoothies. The reason I add some of these, now cabbage has a pretty distinct flavor, but once you mix it in with certain things, it's not too bad. Celery has a pretty neutral flavor, and it's less easily detected in there if you don't like drinking veggies, but I love it. It's great. It's mostly water, right? I think you guys know what those are. They're great. Sometimes I use baby carrots and whatnot. These are actually left over from the other day when I made a vegetable pasta the other day. It was spiral cut vegetables into a pasta-like meal. This is a cuke. And actually, since I have some already, I think this one's still good. I'm kind of feeling the end of it. I don't get rid of vegetables. If they start getting soft, I'll just freeze them because in the smoothie, they work fine once you puree them down. So why waste them, right? And they're actually pretty good. This is some kale. This is actually an organic kale. And the one thing I'll tell you about kale that I've learned when you use fresh kale in a smoothie, baby kale breaks down better. This is not baby kale. This is just fully grown kale, I guess. And you got to really blend the heck out of that to be able to get it into a smooth consistency. All right, now I got a bag here of freezer burn stuff that I'll be using up pretty quickly. This is the leftovers from when I made the spiral cut vegetables for the pasta. I'm making quotes again. And what happens is when you make those, the vegetables can't be fully ground down, and I don't get rid of them. So in this bag is sweet potatoes, fresh ones, not baked, carrots. I see ends of cucumbers. I see yellow squash from one of the other times, zucchini. So there's a bunch of stuff that I'll use to throw into the smoothie. All right, we'll skip by this, and I'm going to show you some of the other things I put in here. Just, once in a while. And I don't shove them all in there, but I do try to add some variety. I got some chia seeds. I actually got this, so for you guys that live up in the Northeast, I got these from Ocean State. I think they were on sale. Throwing them in, I don't know. I read up a little bit on them. Apparently they're good for you. And if you guys have other things you like, supposedly it, as you can see, increases energy, promotes digestion, high in fiber. And that's the one I like, good fiber. Because as we get older, we need more of that fiber, right? And since my father had colon cancer, that's something I often think about, right? And I think we all know what this stuff is, right? Here, it's about in everything, flaxseed. What's great about these, they're actually ground up. So if you use them in your smoothies, I've used whole flax seeds, and you end up, drinking seeds. Flaxseed meal is nice because it's ground up and it goes nicely in the smoothie, and you're not chewing seeds the whole time. So I use that. FYI, another product that's great at Ocean State because and I sometimes get them on sale. I think this bag was only like $2.99. I can't remember. It's pretty cheap and it lasts forever because you don't put a lot in your smoothies. This thing, all right. You guys are probably familiar with defatted peanut powder. I cut the top off of this so I could get deeper. The bag is usually about this tall. This is a peanut flour. And what's nice about this, for those of you that love peanut butter like I do, it's okay to have the peanut fats, although I'm going to tell you something right now about peanut butter, okay? It really is best to find those peanut butters out there that are just peanuts, and maybe a little salt. Most peanut butters have added fat and sugars, which makes no sense to me because peanuts got enough fat. And this is great because it literally is ground up peanuts, and it is defatted, so it's lower fat, but it's really great. And if you can make your own peanut butter with it, and it goes great in smoothies because for those of you guys that have ever made smoothies with peanut butter in a blender, you probably get all the peanut butter caught up on the sides, and you're scraping it down and trying to get it back into your smoothie. There's nothing wrong with drinking pure peanut butter, I think, into your smoothies. It's good. I just bought, let's see here. Yeah, so I'm going to show you the one I like, although I'm not going to put it in here. I like the peanut butter powder. But if you do love peanut butter like I do, this one, they got this just about everywhere. I think I buy this one at Ocean State, I think I got this at Stop and Shop. And let's see. You guys get your reading glasses on? Dry roasted peanuts, flaxseed, salt. All right. Now, I don't have it now. I was going to go look at my wife's peanut butter. I've actually been making her, if I'd have to do the shopping, I buy Terry the good what I consider the good peanut butter. She'll eat it, especially when she puts her sugar-based jelly on there. And I'm not picking on her, I do try to help her, but she certainly didn't sign up for this crazy lifestyle that I guess I'm crazy because everyone else is living their life. Anyway, let me, as I digress, let me show you the last thing that I'm going to put in here that I was talking about. And I buy this one from a company called Piping Rock, and they have a lot of great supplements. And I'm not hawking their products, okay? I'm certainly not biased. I actually bought another brand recently. I like these guys because they're pretty cheap. They have great sales. And this is plant-based protein. For those of you guys that like protein powders, there's a couple ways you can get them. And I've even seen beef protein isolate. And I've actually taken it before I started going on my vegan thing. I don't even want to think about how they get that. But The other ones that are pretty popular are whey protein, which is a milk derivative. I do use those once in a while. Oh my God, Mike, you're not vegan. Just because, especially if I'm out and about and I want a protein bar real quick, they're mostly whey protein. Soy is another big popular one, although I do get a lot of soy in my diet. I try to be careful. There's questions about soy and the healthiness, blah, 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 blah. We won't get into that today. This one's awesome. It is mostly, let's see, pea based, and not pea, pea the plant, right? Peas have a lot of protein, which I never knew. This particular protein powder has 18 grams, no, excuse me, well, I need my glasses, 16 grams per serving, which isn't bad. But it actually it does have a little sugar, which, I'm going to look over. It does have stevia to make it sweet. So that's going to add a little bit of the sweetness to this. But this one is a plant-based protein blend. It has pea, brown rice, and hemp. Yeah, hemp. And no, you're not going to get a buzz off it. But hemp actually is a really great protein base because it has fiber as well as a nice protein. You can actually buy, I've seen Ocean State, and I'm sorry for you guys, I know more than half of my connections out there are other places, but you can find hemp protein in a lot of stores. Ocean State does carry it. I think it's like $10 for 12 ounces of it. I would not recommend using it just plain, because I wouldn't say harsh, but in a smoothie it's great. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys is my blender. Now, I had a regular old-fashioned $20, I forgot what brand blender, until it broke on me one day, and that was before I went hardcore with some of these things. This here, and there are better blenders on the market, but for those of you, for a small investment, which this one was only about $79 on sale, this is my blender. It's the Ninja, all right? And let me tell you a little bit about it. Again, I'm not working for them. I'm not getting any money. But I'm going to tell you why I bought this one and what it does for me in terms of smoothies. This here is probably the biggest reason I bought it. Look at that. How many blenders you've seen with that? Pretty scary looking, huh? All right. This has a lot of safety features in to protect you from it. Now, if you're grabbing that thing, certainly you're going to get cut. But it is an awesome blender. I could throw rocks in there practically. Let me tell you, this here, these frozen sweet potatoes, which are quickly thawing out, probably going to put them back in the freezer. Those there will break a regular blender, okay? So the reason I use them, because I freeze a lot of my fruits and vegetables. One, to give a nice cold smoothie base, but two, because it helps it last. I can prep ahead of time. As you can see, all I do in the mornings is I just boom, boom, boom. I take these things out, and then I have them ready to go, and I just dump them in my blender. And within a few minutes, I have a nice veggie and fruit-based smoothie. This puppy here, and it really is very simple. I'm not gonna. It's a little dirty right now. I got some stuff on it. I'm not gonna fire it up yet because it's very loud. But I think it's 1,000 watts. I can't remember how much. It's a crazy blender. But it's simple. On, low, medium, high. There's not like 20 settings. I usually start off low when I first chop things up. I mean, ice, no problem. You can do anything in here. And then sometimes medium, I like to do. What I'll do is when I first make my smoothies, what I typically do, if I have things that need to be broken down into a little smoother, more smooth, I will let them blend early on in my cycle. So what I'll do is I'll put kale, and I don't know what else needs more blended up as I'm learning here. Something else I can't think of something. Well, kale's a good one, right? We'll talk about that because it's like a strong leafy vegetable. It really needs a lot